Welcome to the Beyond Electric Sheep podcast. I'm Rick Thompson.
And I'm Ed Daniels.
Ed, it's good to sit down with you. It's been a few weeks with the holidays and travel and so on, and I'm looking forward to catching up with you on some AI stuff.
I'm looking forward to catching up with you also, if that's even possible, right? If you're out of the loop for half a day, you're behind.
We were just talking about that. There's no point in doing a story on the capabilities of different models since they're changing so fast. And new models coming in. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But I thought we'd start today just talking a little bit about how I'm using AI at my company.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, and I've sort of evolved a bit on it. So I thought I would just kind of tell you about that, and you may have some questions.
I'd like to hear about it.
So my thinking around AI at my company, so I have a data and analytics company, is that I want to AI enable my company. One, so that we can be more efficient, provide more value to our customers more quickly. But also I want to enable all of my employees and myself to be good at using AI. There was sort of almost a cliche saying when ChatGPT came out, which was, ChatGPT is not going to take your job, but people who are good at using it are going to. Yep. I'm not sure exactly that totally holds, but I think it's kind of true, especially if you're in IT, if you're a developer, like a lot of our folks are, you better be getting good at using this, or it's going to be harder out in the job market, I think. And I think companies like mine, professional services companies, that aren't taking advantage of this and bringing this extra value to the clients are going to go elsewhere, to people that are using it. So we've started to use it in a lot of places, signed up for the enterprise or company versions of the various LLMs, Claude, ChatGPT, and then some other tools that do some tech enablement using AI for the sales department and various other things, marketing, that type of thing.
How receptive have your employees been?
Quite receptive. At first, not so much. I sort of took the approach of, I'm just going to make this stuff available to our employees. We'll give them some rules around using it, not putting client information or their own personal information on it, but using it to code, that type of thing. And people were slow on the uptake. And in fact, for 2025, I have a first quarter initiative to really figure out what are the really good use cases in all of the functional areas around the company and try to develop some process and training around those. And as I've been digging in with my various managers in the functional areas, it turns out everybody's really starting to use it. I thought I would find that it was mostly ad hoc and here and there. It's not. They've developed some use cases already that are quite valuable and delivering things much more quickly. Things that might have taken a week to do that they can do in a couple hours now with the help of these AIs. So we still have work to do to figure out how to be able to train well, so as people come on board, we can show them how to do it. Have process so that we know that we're getting a good result. How are we doing QC so that we're not, you remember the lawyer that submitted the cases that didn't exist?
ChatGPT started making up cases.
Yeah. So we don't want that. We don't want to write some SQL code that's giving us, bad results for clients. And so we have to do a really good job with that. But I'm pleased. People are embracing it. They like it. I think some of the maybe existential fear that was driving some people's thinking to start with has faded a bit. I don't know if, sort of like the boiling the frog in the pot of water.
The water's heating up around everybody, and they just get used to it.
I mean, I have that existential concern too. I have some thoughts on that, but we're just trying to figure out how do we incorporate this into our work life. So my thinking for my company was this year I budgeted spending $50 a month per person on tools. So give everybody, literally everybody in the company, ChatGPT and Claude at least, and then other tools like transcription tool like Otter.ai or on the sales department, actually, we're spending more than that using a tool called Gong to help with sales enablement, recording sales meetings and entering data directly into HubSpot and those types of things.
So it complements HubSpot. It's like a complement to a CRM versus a replacement.
And helps you do analysis of your sales calls and and can help coach you or allow your sales manager to coach you on what you can do better, that type of thing. And so by doing that, just making it available to everybody, signing everybody up, I found that people were just starting to use it which has been great. I talked about it in our all hands meeting last Friday.
Yeah.
But my various managers and then some of our key senior people have really attached to it. And it's interesting to see we have really smart technical people everywhere.
Right.
And some people find it really easy to figure out how to use these tools. And some people just need a little coaching on how to do it.
Is there any relationship between people's skill level? In other words, are the most capable people most interested, or they can do it themselves, they don't need it? So are you seeing any of that?
I think I saw that a few months ago, that it was just quicker to do it themselves, but I think the various tools have gotten so good that even the most senior people find it to be really valuable. And actually, I think having a certain level of experience and skill makes it easier to use them well, too, because you can know what to ask them and where you need help and to be able to check
so you don't
their
really
work.
need to teach a class in prompt engineering then.
Right. I think that's right. So it's interesting. I was just out at CES week before last, Consumer Electronics Show, and I'm not sure there was a single product there that didn't say it was AI enabled. And I think that people's definition of AI has gotten loose. Like if there's any software in it, they're calling it AI. If there's an if-then-else statement somewhere in the software, it's making a decision, so it's AI. We're not doing that. We don't have a product that's AI enabled, but I do think it's going to be important to our clients that we are bringing efficiency and more value because of these tools, or they're going to look for someone that will.
Yeah. Have you learned enough that you could advise some of your fellow CEOs that are running their own companies about how they should approach this?
Maybe. I mean, my general advice to fellow CEOs, and I'm in a cohort of a bunch of professional services CEOs, sort of similar sized companies.
Do you like consulting
$10
or
million to $20 million
engineering
companies.
or that type of companies?
All sorts of consulting. Just use for training, hopefully. I mean, they promise it won't, so we can only trust them on that. Also, don't put stuff that you definitely wouldn't want in training, like personally identifiable information or company financials, that type of stuff. But just give people the tools, give them some of the basics on how to use it. I send out an email every couple of weeks saying, hey, here's a way that I'm using a tool. Here's a prompt that I've got that summarizes meetings really well, or here's a workflow that I'm using. And you might be surprised that people will just start attaching to it and coming up with stuff you didn't even think of. I mean, I'm seeing that already. And actually, as I'm doing my interviews, I found out there's a...
Tell us about the interviews.
Oh, just interviewing the managers of the functional areas I mentioned. I was trying to just get a feel for where we are. There's a lot going on. I mean, one group, they have a PowerPoint that's here's how we train people on how to use it. And, I saw a stat that something like 30% of students use LLMs to help with their homework. And I was shocked that the number was so low.
Yeah. Right.
And then I realized, well, if that 30% number is probably actually 60%, from the time they took the survey to now, it's probably grown that fast. I think it will become self-perpetuating as everybody's using it and getting good at it. But, giving it a start, I think is important.
I wonder if we're going to see also some dropouts from the process. I did have this really strange experience because, of course, you and I are so fascinated with this and where it's going, and we're studying it every minute and looking at the advances. But I did talk to a tech guy, engineering background, who learned about it. This friend of mine showed him what ChatGPT could do, for example, and how it could be applied in the workplace, and he just said, oh, thank God, I'm about to retire. I'm just not going to have to deal with this stuff. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm out of here.
I've seen some of that. And certainly saw it more a year and a half or 2 years ago when ChatGPT first came out. I would talk to executives who said, yeah, I tried it. It's not very good. And they've moved on. But I don't think people are doing that as much now. So, yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm excited by it. I think it can do really good things for us. I am nervous about safety. I don't know how much I can do about that except keep an eye on it and try to be smart in my use of it and hope that things go well with the people that can do something about it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad you're having that experience, and I would predict that your company is going to be supercharged with all these people that are empowered with all this knowledge and ability to use AI to do their jobs, even if it's not an AI product per se, which of course most companies aren't going to have their own AI products per se, but they're going to use it.
Yeah.
Like you said, sales, marketing, reporting.
Yeah, I mean, just to increase efficiency. And I wouldn't swear to us not being working on an AI product, but we're not ready yet.
Right. My lips are sealed.
All right. Good to catch up, Ed.
Thanks, Rick.